Okay.
Looks like we're waiting for, I don't see the chief on yet.
No, and Neil
Peter.
too.
Peter and Neil. I don't see Neil on yet.
And you can see by my sterling countenance that despite what the sign says, I'm not Chris. So,
We're used to that.
Yes. Emphasis on the sterling countenance.
true. I've been trying for 2 months to get, our meetings are the only meetings that the camera on my computer won't work with.
Oh,
Everything else, the camera seems to work, but it doesn't want any part of Zoom. So I don't know what's going on.
yeah.
So, of course, it has more than one moving part, which puts me at a distinct disadvantage. So
Yeah,
All right.
that too. It looks
Leave
like
my
we got
meeting.
Neil on now. And
Yeah, it looks like
Dennis.
Neil is on. Okay, I don't see the chief yet. Be good to have the chief on. And Peter. So let's
Well,
get it.
unfortunately, my phones have been doing double duty since yesterday and all day today, and they are on the charger in the other room. So somebody can text the chief, David Singer, see if he's getting on.
I can try to reach out to him.
Oh, okay.
Give it a second.
There you
Oh,
go.
there he
Chief is on.
is.
Look at all you shiny, happy people. Nice to see everyone.
Well, except for David Singer, who's calling you right this minute.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Okay.
All right, folks.
Oh, there he is up there.
I think we can get started here for our meeting on the 8th of March at 4:02 or 4:02 is what I have. So the town of Greenfield is recording this meeting. If anybody other than town of Greenfield is recording this meeting, could you please state your name and at this moment? Is anybody else recording the meeting? Okay, thank you. All right. So let's do a roll call first. Committee members. Mayor Rita Gardner.
Here.
Jean Wall.
Here, sorry.
It's okay. Chief Strahan.
I am present.
Peter with us.
Peter is on emergency call. He'll be back shortly.
Okay. Jennifer. Herb.
yes,
Okay. David M is here. And we got Carol.
Here.
Okay. And Neil.
If you're on and you're not speaking, would you please go on mute? Background music, noise, not music. Sorry.
David, I'm here.
Okay. And Dennis Ross and team.
Yes, we
Yes.
are here also.
Okay. Great.
And Roger Hoyt, CMS. Also.
All right. And I think I saw David Singer. He's joining us,
yeah.
and Butch is with us. Thank you, David. All right. So we need to
David-
approve. Just go
Dave,
ahead. Sorry.
We got Roger Hoyt with CMS
Oh,
as
great.
well.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. I just wanted to do a little maintenance. Can we have a motion? We have to approve 2 sets of minutes, folks. we need to go back. You gotta put your thinking caps on. I sent them out January 27th and the 8th. I think we can do one vote for approval of both minutes, if that's okay.
So moved.
Motion to accept both sets of minutes as presented.
All right, we'll go through again the voting members. Mayor Rita Gardner,
Yes,
Jean,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes, but I have no idea who motioned or seconded, and I'm taking notes.
second by, well, actually, they can take a pick. It's either Herb or Chief.
Herb Forgy. Yes, on the minutes.
Yes.
Okay, and Peter's not with us right yet, and I say they're fine. So, any discussion on the meeting minutes? All right, great. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it. All right, so on to the business of the day, the financial business. So you have, Dennis, do we want to share the results of the surveys on the screen? Can you do that, Neil? Is that possible?
You're muted, Neil.
Yeah, if you can permit me to share.
Okay. I'll figure that out.
Oh,
It's funny when you're working off an iPad, it's always different than a laptop.
The mayor's gonna have to do it, I think.
well, that's a problem. Nope, there you go. There you go.
Okay.
That worked.
Okay.
All right, so folks, we are going to, a couple things we're gonna get through tonight. We're gonna rank these three companies, 1, 2, and 3. 1 being the most preferable, the highest ranking. And the reason we want to do that is in case one of them falls, the number 1 falls 3, we know who the number 2 is, and so on. And then we're going to make a motion to discuss our ranking, our number 1 ranking, and make a recommendation on the Thursday's meeting at the full building committee. So I think if we do a motion to rank these 1, 2, and 3, then we can have a discussion about them. So would somebody like to make that motion to rank these 1, 2, and 3?
Do you want the actual 1, 2, 3 listed, or is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I think we need to list our number 1, our number 2, and our number 3. So when we make the recommendation for our number 1, if something falls through, we know who the number 2 is.
Okay, so I will make a recommendation based off of what I see as number 1, New England Builders, Mahaffey Structures, number 2, Zemtra Clearspan, and number 3, BW Construction, in that order.
All right. Will somebody second it?
Second.
Okay, great. So discussion.
Go ahead, Chief.
So I'll start off by saying why I graded the way that I graded. So I have Mahaffey number 1 based off of previous fire experience that they listed. If you noticed in their package that they gave multiple examples of like buildings that they've done for multiple departments, including the city of Boston and Cambridge. I also rated them higher due to their delivery date. And from doing research into the 3 companies, theirs seemed to be the most adequate for what we were trying to accomplish.
The only problem I would have, and I unfortunately had the kind of weekend and day today that didn't allow me to rank, so I'm just posing this as a question. I think you're correct. Number 2, Zemetra, on most items, except for the delivery date, which seems quite problematic. with regard to dovetailing with the fire, demolishment of the fire station and ability to move into the structures. So, if that's didn't cause anybody too much of a problem, then, you know what, we could roll with it if it had to come down to Zemetra. But clearly New England Builders is the better one from a financial standpoint for sure. And from a delivery standpoint, although I'm kind of curious if somebody can enlighten me at this point, as to how they're going to meet that deadline when the others are saying July.
Neil, do you have any input on that?
Let me make sure. Am I muted? I can't see it.
You're okay. You're okay.
Okay. Mayor, I would suggest that the reason that we're asking for the rank 1, 2, 3 is so that we can compile a list of items and or clarifications and have a comprehensive conversation with New England Builders and make sure that they provide us with the information and the answers that we're expecting. And I would suggest strongly that the award of a contract be based on that written clarification from New England Builders.
Okay.
I would add to that there are definitely things that need to be clarified technically, but for the most part, I would agree with the 1, 2, and 3. I think the option 3 actually really isn't an option for us, to be honest. I'm a little concerned about the design and construction and the lack of a heating system and having 30 or 40 foot tents. So I'm really concerned about the number 3, but they're number 3 and they're the most expensive. So I would agree with the motion of the 1 and the 2 and the 3. With there will definitely have to be, no matter who we pick, there'll have to be detailed specs and clarification on some of the items. But I think for the most part, 1 and 2 had the structural details, and of course the pricing for New England Builders is less than the number 2 ranking. Any other, who else has, I'm going through the screen here, so if I don't see you raise your hand, please just speak up if you have questions or concerns.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, David.
I put it in the chat box, but I guess if my memory serves me, some of the pricing in the last group was lower, or am I misunderstanding? Could you please, maybe Neil can help compare these costs to the last group?
So yes, David, there was a package that was provided by Big Top. That was, I think that was in the range of $750,000. There was a second package by Mahaffey that was incomplete and couldn't be accepted. Their price was in the $850 to $900 range. And then Zemetra was roughly the same number at $1.2 million.
And Big, just to clarify, I believe Big Top had issues qualifying because of documentation reasons, and they decided not to rebid on the second wave.
So Neil, why did New England Builders go up in their proposal? Do you know?
New England Builders actually didn't bid it the first time. Both New England Builders and BW Construction are new to the mix.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
Zemetra's price is fairly consistent with where it was.
So
ClearSpan was the only repeat company that re-RFP, David.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I thought I heard Neil say New England Builders was in the first round, but I may have misunderstood, so I apologize. So again, just for all of us to understand, so if we accept New England Builders, is there an ability to negotiate the price down, Neil, anyway?
No. We can negotiate what is being provided. We can negotiate the package, but we are prohibited from negotiating price.
So that means that the two together would be $450, right? Thank you.
$1,450,000 round numbers, Dave.
Yeah. So now that leaves us, X between what is it? So between 1.77 and that is what, like 300,000?
Round numbers, 325.
Yeah. So can you tell us how that will work in terms of the project? Will we be able to stay within that amount of money to spend on the other items, or what are you thinking will happen?
David, I would say at the next step will be to provide pricing exercises on all of those other items with vendors, and reevaluate where things stand moving forward. I can say that we're still working with Marlo and George to have them do as much work as possible, and that will certainly provide a substantial savings to the city. Whether it gets us to and keeps us under the $1.7 million remains to be seen.
Would you recommend then that we go with this and move ahead?
David, I think because of timing, I'm not sure that you have a choice, frankly.
I like it when I don't have a choice. Thank you. Okay.
So thank you, David. Any other questions, folks? Statements? I do want it to be on the record that we are not over budget with the two biggest items right now, which is a positive. So the other items that we need to address, there potentially is some negotiating power and some cost savings for the internal items that we need to install into the tent and the living quarters. So I think that, like Neil said, the next step is to put the pieces together with the internal systems and then start pricing those internal systems out and see where we can come up with some additional cost savings, David.
Okay. Thank you.
Neil, if I can, this is Dennis.
Sure.
What was your original budget for all temporary, not just the buildings, all work, design fees, everything all in? Was it 2.5?
So the original budget we gave to the city was 1.77 million. And then once we got things moving forward, and had things a little bit more defined, we CMS did a pricing exercise on it, and we came up with a budget price, an estimated cost of about 1.9 million. So I think we're probably going to be somewhere between those two numbers when we're all said and done.
Thank you.
I'm just checking the chat to see if there's any other questions. Are there any other questions for the folks that have joined us in the voting members? Concerns? I don't see any in the chat. So Neil, just clarify for me if we do make this recommendation, what are the next steps, working with McCaffrey? If McCaffrey is the recommendation that we make tonight, what are the next steps working with them? Is it to, I mean, other than signing the contract and that, so on and so forth, is it starting to put drawings together and technical documentation on all the equipment and verifying that they have covered everything according to the RFP? Could you just go through that real quickly?
Yeah, so similar to the modular buildings, we will have a meeting with Mahaffey likely on site, along with New England Builders. We'll review the requirements of the RFP. We will ask them to prepare technical submittals that will identify all of the various elements that will be incorporated into the building and provide all of those for our review and approval. And then we'll begin to coordinate on the back end with the city, all of the electrical connections and all of the additional systems and services that we need to provide so that the buildings will be fully functional when we need them.
Okay. Are there any questions for Neil with respect to that? All right, nothing in the chat. All right, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a vote on ranking that we've agreed on, the ranking of the 1, 2, and 3, if we could, and then I'd like to take a vote on the recommendation of our number 1 to the full building committee on Thursday. So two votes, folks, if that's okay. So I think the chief had made the motion for the ranking. So I'm going to take an individual vote for that, if everybody agrees to the 1, 2, and 3. All right. May we
David, not to interrupt you, you need a second on that.
I think we had a second, didn't we?
Yeah, you did.
We had a second.
It was me.
Okay.
caught
I just
that
want to
one,
check
yeah.
to see if, Chief, do you know, I'm just looking to see if Peter, just real
Yes,
quick.
you did.
Okay. All right. So, Mayor, Rita Gardner,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Herb, Mr. Forgy,
Yes,
Chief,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
and myself, David, is a yes. So we're all yes on agreeing to the 1, 2, and 3 ranking. Can I get a motion to make a vote on recommending our number 1, New England Builders and McGaffey Structures, to the full building committee on Thursday?
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
Okay. Before we take the vote, any questions? Let me check the chat. Gotta check that chat. Nobody's hand raised. Okay, so I'm gonna take the vote on our number 1 recommendation for Thursday. Mayor,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Herb,
yes,
Chief, Strahan,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes, sir.
and myself is a yes. So we're all agreed on that we will be making the recommendation to move forward with New England Builders and McGaffey Structures on the Thursday full building building committee meeting. Thank you, folks. I want to say before I take a motion to depart, or if there's any new items, that I want to thank the volunteers, not only on this committee, but on all the committees, the hard work and the labor going and rifling through all these documents and taking a lot of time to read these and ask a lot of good questions. So I want to thank you everybody that's voting and non-voting that has put time into all of this. Thank you. Does anybody have any new items?
I do.
David?
Oh,
David?
I just have a question for the committee, the
Sure.
subcommittee. Is there anything else, and then the chief can speak, of course. Is there anything else that I should put on the agenda for Thursday relating to the temporary fire station stuff? Besides this obvious vote, is there anything else, Neil? Anything else that's you need authorization from the committee for? You could think about that and maybe let the chief ask his question. Just wanna make sure everything on the agenda.
I would like to make sure that we cover the schedule. Now that we have both, hopefully, or very close to having both vendors and their delivery times and so forth. So I would like an idea on that day of the schedule, start to finish.
Okay, we'll do.
Not of the temporary, not the whole project, of course.
Yeah, that would take a little longer.
Yeah.
I think we could lay out a preliminary schedule with the dates that we have. And then after some initial talks with Vanguard and McAfee, I think Neil could put a much qualified weekly schedule together. I don't want to speak for you, Neil, but do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll have anything ready for Thursday, but it's certainly something we'll be focusing on over the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Chief, did you have a question?
No, I don't have a question. I just had a statement. We are moving forward with the packing up and moving of the firehouse. Joining us on the meeting today is Lieutenant Kurt Seaman. Kurt Seaman has been tasked with being the moving coordinator, if you will, for the fire department, and he'll be working with a group of volunteers that we had to make sure that everything is accounted for and moved appropriately. And Friday of this week, it was delayed a week, we should see the first 2 storage containers put on the site. And Kurt will start working on the items that are going into storage within the next month or so. So just wanted to report.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time, Lieutenant and Chief. And is there, please let me or there are other folks around town that are more than willing to volunteer for the fire department if there's anything needed. I don't know if the general public folks can help out, but the offer is there. So please let me or folks know if you need assistance in anything. There's more than enough town members that are willing to help.
Yeah, the one thing that we are struggling with trying to figure out is our hand pumper. Finding a climate control place to put that into storage for us for a couple of years. So we're looking for some ideas.
Okay.
David, if I may to the chief, this is Ed Jarvis.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Dave, if I may just comment
yeah,
to
go
the
ahead.
chief,
Yes,
this is Ed
absolutely.
Jarvis. Hey, chief, how about the place that we looked at across from Sandry's? You want me to reach out to the owner there and see if it's heated and see if he has a spot for us?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is I think we have to look at all options. It's a pretty valuable piece of history. And it's an 1852 hand pump, and we just want to make sure that we have.
Yep, I was just throwing it out there. It might be heated.
Yep. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't know if it's feasible or not, but I'll talk to you later on it.
Is it just heat you're concerned about? Sometimes climate control items need both heat and air.
It's been in our basement, so it hasn't really been that protected from the elements like that, and it's just in a heated enclosed area.
Okay.
It's never been air conditioned.
Okay.
All right. Well, there's going to be some further investigation and talk about that, but we will hopefully come up with a nice, secure place for that piece of Greenfield history. So our next temporary meeting is scheduled for March 22nd. And I would like, hopefully by that time, we'll have some good information back from Neil with respect to Vanguard and the living quarters. And we'll have updates with respect to where we are with New England Builders and McAfee. So we should have some really good information on the 22nd of March. Are there any other questions for us? All right. I would love to have a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
And everybody at once, a hip hip hooray.
Hooray!
Hooray.
Thank you, folks, for all your time. Greatly
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you. Good
Thanks,
job,
Dave.
Warren.
Thanks, everyone.
Good job. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all.
Oh.